Hi, I'm Tom Ray from the band LORENZO'S Music, and in this video, I'm going to show you how we originally started doing our band streams that we do every week. And we did it using just a 2-channel mixer going into the stream with the whole band in the room. When we first started out, all we needed was an audio mix, and we set up a split camera on one scene that showed 2 different angles of the band. We didn't have the perfect setup yet, but we were able to build a system using what we already had. So when we started, we already had a PA and a mixer in the room for our live practice. First of all, because bands love having gear and we love messing with our sound in the room. We bought a 2-channel sound card. It was this here, which is just an alpha lexicon, and I have it hooked up already, and it's actually really dusty because we haven't used it in a while. But this was our first input for audio that we started out with because it was the cheapest option, to tell you the truth, before we moved on to actually working up to the 18-channel sound card that we have here. So what we did is we just ran our sound in the room from over here at the PA mixer, and we would just run the channel out from that back into this 2-channel sound card. So the controlled stream mix was actually monitored in the room, kind of, because all we could use was the output that was coming from the PA system, which wasn't very reliable. So the room mix and the stream mix would be tied together, which is workable, but it's very inconsistent. So we only had 8 channels to mic in, and we had to strategically work on how we were going to do that. We had 2 channels for the drums that we used, one for the bass drum and another one that was strategically placed that would pick up the drums. Then we had the bass input, we had my keys, we had my vocals, then we had the guitar, and then we had the other keys that the guitar player played. I think that's all of them. So the 2-channel option was a good start, and we were able to actually start streaming the band right away. So because we only had this 2-channel input, the DAW routing that the band usually uses with our 18-channel setup wasn't needed. We could actually just go directly into OBS with this 2-channel. Now, in OBS, what we would do to connect this is here's a blank scene that I've set up, and we would add our audio in Ubuntu Studio, and I would choose the pulse audio capture, which I'll just add there. And since I already had this lexicon set up, I would choose it from the drop down, hit OK, and now I have the audio capture in there. So we would take the output from the PA system, run it into the back of the 2-channel sound card, and let me hook my mic up from here to test that out just to show you. So if I hook up my mic right here, you'll see that I'm getting a level, but it's getting it from 1 meter, as you can see, because it's running in stereo. So what I need to do to fix this is I go to the settings down at the bottom, and I switch it to mono. Then I hit close, and now you can see it's going through both of those. So now that means that anything that's coming into the 2-channel sound card is now coming into our audio input for the scene that we're going to do. Then we would test the sound by doing a recording over here in OBS of us playing a song or something like that, and see if the mix was any good. Of course, we could go in the room, it sounds good, but we're also playing in the room. We're loud. It's not the same as the audio that's coming into the 2-channel sound card. So we would record that, listen to it, go, this needs to be turned up, this doesn't, that sort of thing. And then once we had that going, all we had to do was, in the same scene, we can add cameras. Then what we would do is this is strange, we would set up a webcam for the room, and we would put the webcam on, and we could stretch it to the scene. So of course we would have now the audio and the webcam. If the audio for the webcam shows up, you can mute that right there, because you don't want to have that coming through. I'm going to turn this way because it seems weird to look at me from the side. We have that webcam set up, and what we would want to do is set up 2 of them, because we wanted to get a couple of different angles in the room, and we would split this. And the way to do that is, and I'm going to need both hands for this, so bear with me while I try to find a way to set that up. Hold on, set this here. Very confusing. All right, and the way we would do that is we would do Control-Alt and then drag it like this. And that's how we could split it. So then we could add another webcam and have half of it be one side of the room, and then we'd set up a second camera right there, and there would be 2 angles on the room, and we'd have tripods in the room showing that. So if you look at some of our earlier streams, that's how we did it. We didn't really know how to set up layouts or make it look fancy either. We just kind of went, oh look, we can fit 2 cameras on the screen. And we thought that was brilliant. And then the 2 camera split that you're seeing here, although there's only 1 camera. Do I have another camera? Can I set this up? That's gonna be really weird. And there, now I got the split screen. So now I've got the 2 cameras going. And oh, it's funny, these cameras are old, so they're being kind of choppy. So we would have the audio input using the 2-channel card here, and then we would have the split screen, and we would just stream that to OBS. And we would just pay attention to the mix that we had over there in the PA system. And if you look at some of our earlier videos, that's how we did it. And the audio is, you can hear the room in it. You can actually hear how the room kind of echoes or even reverberates through the other microphones a little bit. But it was still a pretty good setup for what we needed to do. Since then, the channels we added have increased. We've moved from simple stereo to more instrument control, and we kept the same Ubuntu Studio core workflow that we had because we are a Linux-based band. So more channels are useful and they sound much better, but we wanted to make sure that our bass process was more stable. As we used OBS more and more, we had better scene layouts, and we also added auto scene switching, which came later on. And that was how we did our very early versions of our band's live stream every week. If this helped, subscribe to the channel for more behind the scenes open source music tutorials. Thanks for watching.